You're listening to the Quint's podcast.
All's not looking well for the BJP in West Bengal. Amid a spate of defections of BJP leaders to the Trinamool Congress, the party's state chief, Dilip Ghosh, was shifted to the post of the national vice president well before his term was due to end. In his stead, Sukanta Majumdar, a relatively lesser-known first-time MP, has been appointed as the chief of BJP in Bengal at a time when the party seems to be facing a very serious organisational crisis at the state level. While there have been complaints about Ghosh's leadership, especially since the BJP faced a humiliating defeat in the state assembly polls unlike its expectations, the change of guards is also believed to have been spurred by a series of desertions from the party that has exposed a chink in its armours. Ever since their electoral defeat, the BJP has been struggling to keep its party together in West Bengal with reports of infighting and defections. Over the past months, 4 MLAs who were former TMC leaders have also gone back to the TMC, Mukul Roy being one of the prominent faces among them. But after Mukul Roy's Ghar Vapsi, as it's being termed, Babul Supriyo switching to the TMC was perhaps a bigger blow for the BJP. Now, with murmurs of more possible defections in the coming months, will the reshuffling in the state leadership be able to arrest the niggling problems within the party? What will be the task ahead for Sukanta Majumdar? Why is the BJP seeming so directionless and imploding with dissension in West Bengal? In this episode, you'll hear from Sukanta Majumdar, the Quint's Kolkata correspondent, and senior journalist Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay. You're tuned in to The Big Story, the podcast where we dissect the headline-making news for you. And I'm your host, Shorburi. A lot has changed for the BJP in West Bengal ever since the election results came out. If before the polls the party seemed confident of its strides, since the TMC's resounding victory in the state, the BJP has been plagued with demoralization and an acute lack of leadership. If before the polls the BJP had attempted to paint a picture of the TMC being a sinking ship in the state, now it appears that it's the BJP in fact that is in utter disarray. While the infighting between the TMC turncoats and other party leaders had become apparent even before the polls, the discord in BJP West Bengal seems to have only exacerbated since. Ishadrata Lahiri, the Quint's Kolkata correspondent, gives more insight into why the BJP has been imploding with factionalism and dissension.
We had reported after the elections that the BJP could possibly be staring at an organisational crisis after such a massive defeat, and the primary reason for that for it really to come to a culmination point, as they say, the final trigger for that was the fact that so many Trinamool leaders had been inducted into the BJP right before the elections. And people like Dilip Ghosh, especially Dilip Ghosh, had always said that he was not okay with this, and that even if leaders are taken in, they should not be given an important organizational position. And from a cadre point of view, when we were traveling on the ground for the elections, a lot of BJP cadre told us that they were unhappy with the fact that now they had to work with the same Trinamool people who they were fighting with 2 days ago, who probably attacked them at some point, who broke their leg, or who, misbehaved with someone in their family. So that was, at the ground level, at the lowest level of the BJP, that was something that was bubbling. And secondly, with the Trinamool leaders who switched over to the BJP, most of them were unsuccessful in retaining their seats or in winning the seats where they had stood from. And because of that, it was also very clear that these guys did not have much of a position in the BJP anymore, because of course if you've been brought in from another party and you lose the first election where you're standing from, and of course in this case you have been expressly brought in to win an election, then it's not expected that you will have much of a say in the party at that point. And of course, Trinamool is going to be in power here for the next 5 years. So if you have peeved them, then it is not going to be politically great for you at this point. So a lot of these leaders who had then come, they saw that there was nothing left for them in the BJP, and then they themselves started approaching the Trinamool to go back.
And it's amid this air of uncertainty within the party that the central leadership decided to step in and replace Dilip Ghosh with Sukanta Majumdar. With Ghosh at the helm of the BJP's West Bengal unit, the Saffron Party had won 18 out of 42 Lok Sabha seats in Bengal in the general elections. And encouraged by this kind of success, it had hoped that the Lotus will sway control of the state in the state elections as well. Although the BJP did manage to secure 77 seats in the state assembly, its highest ever in Bengal, there's been a lot of dissension against Dilip Ghosh from within the party. At a moment when the party workers are deeply demoralized with the election loss, a report on the Quint also points out that there's been a lot of anger amongst the local BJP workers who felt that both the state and the central leadership remained largely aloof about the incidents of post-poll violence. While 5 MLAs had skipped the BJP's organisational meeting in Siliguri that had taken place earlier in August, Ghosh was reportedly not even aware of that meeting. In fact, earlier in July, Ghosh was also greeted with protests from BJP workers in Asansol, and so perhaps his removal as the Bengal BJP chief doesn't come as a surprise. What also added to the party's problems, Ishadrita says, is that amid the dissatisfaction around the state leadership, 2 factions got formed, the pro-Dilip Ghosh and the anti-Dilip Ghosh camps.
And at the same time, what was happening is there were 2 power centers that had developed in the BJP, which is the pro-Dilip Ghosh and the anti-Dilip Ghosh power centers. And Dilip Ghosh, just by virtue of the fact that he was a very mass leader and by far more popular than any of the other state level senior leaders in the BJP, Babul Supriyo included, he had a lot of say in the party and he had a lot of popularity in the party. Even on the ground level, he is the leader, he is the Bengal BJP leader, that is, who is known the most. And Ghosh wasn't very happy with the fact that the Bengal BJP campaign was being run entirely on Delhi, or more so the fact that it was Delhi leaders who were fronting it, and even till the end we had so many names of who could be a possible chief ministerial candidate. It was not like, okay, Dilip Ghosh, party president, is the one and only, and he sources who are close to him tell us that is, they said this even during the election, that is something that he was not happy with. And at the same time, he had raised objections to people coming in from the Trinamool and then them being given important positions. And he also at the same time had problems with leaders like Babul Supriyo, and in fact Dilip Ghosh and Babul Supriyo have had public spats many times. It was mostly because there was a lot of organizational power that Dilip Ghosh wielded, which did not allow other leaders to have as much say as they would have liked. And also because someone like Babul Supriyo had at many points felt that that Dilip Ghosh, the fact that he gets into so many controversies and the fact that he says what he says is not something that was very desirable for the party, which is why in 2020 when Dilip Ghosh made a comment on how people indulging in quote-unquote anti-national activities should be shot down like dogs, Babul Supriyo came out and said that it was very irresponsible. So, and also Dilip Ghosh and amongst the BJP cadre and the rank and file of the BJP, actually it was a very, it was an understanding that people like Dilip Ghosh are people who would want to stay in Bengal and do their politics, while leaders like Babul Supriyo, Rupa Ganguly, they were shown as leaders or projected as leaders who would much rather spend their time in Delhi. So these 2 factors, the fact that the cadre in itself was unhappy with the Trinamool induction, and the fact that there were so many leaders who were unhappy with Dilip Ghosh, and now that the election had lost and the Delhi leadership has to take onus because everyone knows that it was run by them. These leaders who were in the anti-Dilip Ghosh faction felt that now not much, they won't have much say against Ghosh in the party, and that was one of the reasons that they left. And multiple leaders actually even privately say that they had an issue with Dilip Ghosh's people management, which they said will inevitably cause some kind of factionalism in the BJP. So because of these 2 reasons, BJP cadre, BJP people from every level, the cadre level, the district level, the block level, and of course senior leaders, thought it was best to move to the TMC, and in fact the TMC claims that there are many more leaders who are still in touch with them from the BJP, some of them legislators, and that there will be more joinings in the days to come.
But who is Sukanta Majumdar, the man who will now be taking reins of the BJP in Bengal, and why was he picked as the state chief? Majumdar had previously held the position of the state in charge of BJP Sikkim, a first-time MP from Balurghat. Majumdar had also formerly served as a member of the BJP state election management team. He's also worked as the party's co-convener for the Uttar Banga zone. But why was this relatively unknown face picked to lead BJP's West Bengal unit? Quoting BJP sources, several reports have stated that the decision was driven by the party's good show in North Bengal. Ishadrita explains more on what the BJP could possibly hope to get with making Sukanta Majumdar the party chief in Bengal.
So Dr. Sukanta Majumdar as a person is perceived to be diametrically opposite of the kind of person Dilip Ghosh was. He is from a RSS background as well, like Dilip Ghosh. However, he is someone who kind of became known in the party after he was nominated and thereafter elected from the Balurghat constituency in North Bengal. He is a professor of botany. His page shows that he has published around 15 academic articles. But more importantly, he is known as someone who is a lot more reticent as opposed to Dilip Ghosh. So, Sukanta Majumdar in that sense is being seen as a more reserved kind of person who will be able to handle infighting and the senior leadership with a lot of tact. Also at 41, he is the youngest ever Bengal BJP president, and it is also interesting to see that if he lasts in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, he is going to be head to head with Abhishek Banerjee, who is also a young Turk. He is 33 right now. So for the first time in a very long time, we might actually see a political competition between two very young politicians in Bengal, after a very, very long time. So but that apart, Sukanta Majumdar is also from the Balurghat constituency, which is in Dinajpur, and it is important to note that the North Bengal area, of which Dinajpur, Uttar and Dakhin Dinajpur are a part. The North Bengal area is the one area where the TMC has done badly in the 2021 elections, and it's probably the only area where the TMC has done badly. And the BJP in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, as well as in the 2021 elections, has managed to hold on to North Bengal. So out of 54 seats in North Bengal, the BJP has won 30, which is almost half of its total tally of 77 in the elections, which has now of course come down to 71. So North Bengal is something that the BJP is trying to keep its hold on. That is, it has kind of made North Bengal its bastion now, and it is trying very hard to not let it slip by the time 2024 comes along, because they will have to build on that. They can't afford to lose that. And this is something that we have seen the BJP emphasize on. So in the recent cabinet reshuffle of Prime Minister Modi, there were two North Bengal MPs who were given a ministerial berth, which is Nishit Pramanik and Subhash Sarkar. And having someone as the BJP president from North Bengal is another way of the BJP trying to hold on to that region, in the foreseeable future. And in North Bengal, representation, identity, they are very important political issues. They are very emotive issues.
While Sukanta Majumdar has pledged to live up to the expectations of the party high command, he has also acknowledged that he is taking charge at a quote-unquote challenging time. And indeed, there are several challenges up ahead for Majumdar, especially with murmurs of more defections being anticipated from the BJP. While before the state elections, the BJP had faced allegations of engineering defections from the TMC, over the past few months, there have been a series of reverse defections from the party back to the TMC. For legislators, Kaliaganj MLA Shoman Roy, Bishnupur MLA Tanmay Ghosh, former BJP National Vice President Mukul Roy and Bishwajit Das, MLA from Bagda, have left the BJP since June to join the TMC, while a few others have publicly pleaded to be accepted back in the TMC fold as the BJP state leadership struggles to keep its house in order. What adds to this humiliation is BJP MP Babul Supriyo's exit from the party. He had been at loggerheads with the state leadership and Dilip Ghosh especially. Ahead of the West Bengal elections, Supriyo had openly expressed his displeasure about the BJP indiscriminately taking in turncoats, but being dropped from the union cabinet after it was reshuffled in July seems to have been the last straw. While the party said that his exit is not a big blow for the BJP, what it does expose is the deep dissension within the BJP in West Bengal. Senior journalist Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay explains why Supriyo's exit is a big loss for the BJP.
Babul Supriyo's exit from the BJP is a huge loss for the party because he was among the high-profile entrants who came into the party several years ago. He was a minister in the Council of Ministers. He was fielded in the West Bengal elections with great fanfare, did not manage to win his elections. That was not because of his own reasons, but because the party performed quite disastrously. Then Babul Supriyo was dropped from the Union Council of Ministers quite unceremoniously in July. So really the door had been shut on him even after he had resigned as a member of parliament. I think anybody who understood politics was very certain that his days in the party was limited, and he was just waiting for the right opportunity and to be quote unquote to be pardoned by the Trinamool Congress and work things out so that he could have an honorable entry into the party. So I think the BJP is in a particularly a spot in Bengal. It is 5 months since the crushing defeat in Bengal. After Mr. Amit Shah having upped the ante, saying that we are going to win at least 200 seats. The party's performance has not been good. So you could push out Dilip Ghosh and bring in a new president who is largely unknown. It does not really solve the problems that the BJP has been facing. There is need for a very detailed post-mortem.
Supriyo, known for his communal rhetoric, has now found a place within the TMC and met with the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee as well. But what is his role likely to be in the TMC, and what does it say about the party? Mr. Mukhopadhyay weighs in.
I don't particularly think very highly of the political commitment of somebody like Babul Supriyo. The BJP granted him admission because it suited him. In 2014 they wanted to create what in Hindi is called this major hawa of making even West Bengal Narendra Modi May, completely, in the sway of Narendra Modi. So you get film stars, Babul Supriyo was not the only one, who came from the world of glamour or from outside politics to have joined the BJP. Not just in Bengal, all over the country it happened. So these are people, who come in till the time tidings are good. Once things start becoming bad, they leave the party. While they are in the party, they sing the same tune which they think is going to get them favors with the party. Trinamool, now the Trinamool is also, it's in the same mold. The Trinamool is no different, They keep on talking about, an ideological commitment, but the Trinamool admitting people like Babul Supriyo, so basically this is just vendetta politics, that you get back at the BJP in the same way that the BJP once hurt you. BJP got your people, so you're getting their BJP, their leaders into the Trinamool Congress now. It's a kind of rubbing it in that we have defeated you, vanquished you.
But beyond dissension, infighting and defections at the state, the BJP has also lost 2 of its Gram Panchayat strongholds to the TMC. And it's not just MLAs and MPs, but also councillors and Gram Panchayat members who are now switching to the TMC in large numbers. But why is the BJP appearing so directionless in the state, and what is the lesson for the party here? Mr. Mukhopadhyay says that the BJP needs to conduct a thorough post-mortem on what didn't work for the party in West Bengal.
The party is looking directionless because it has not publicly accepted what went wrong. Everyone in the party knows that the handling of the party campaign by the central leadership was wrong, that they should have involved the local leadership more, given greater autonomy to state leaders, allow them to frame the basic parameters of the campaign, the issues which had to be listed, should have been done by the local people. But instead of that, they completely upped the ante, personalized the campaign, tried to communalize the entire atmosphere, which completely backfired on the BJP. So an honest post-mortem has to be done first before the BJP can even start planning to make a comeback in West Bengal. Till that time doesn't happen, there will be many more desertions. Already about 4 or 5 MLAs have resigned from the BJP and joined the Trinamool Congress, and I'm sure that over the next few months there will be several more who will continue to go. This process will not stop till the time the BJP is honest to itself and its own cadre and its own local leaders.
If you like listening to this episode, please subscribe to the Big Story playlist for episodic updates. We're live on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, JioSaavn, and most of the other popular podcast streaming platforms. For other podcasts, please log on to the Quint website and check out the podcast section. For any feedback, shoot an email to podcasts@thequint.com.
Thanks for listening. Log on to the Quint's website and check out our other podcasts.